Good afternoon. This is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. It's good to have you join us. I'm Hawa Salihu Adama. With the centrality of good sanitation and hygiene to other sectors of the society, Nigeria must scale up efforts and expand the dragnet of collaboration to clean the country of open defecation and attain the 2025 target. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo encourage stakeholders as the country commemorates the first anniversary of the national campaign against open defecation tagged Clean Nigeria, Use the Toilet.
To end open defecation in Nigeria, and we reiterate commitment to support subnational level initiatives towards ending open defecation and improving access to wash services for the populace. To this end, I wish to commend state governments who have taken the initiative to develop their state-specific action plans for the wash sector with a declaration of a state of emergency and have commended the role of level campaigns to end open defecation with the provision of needed financial resources.
The number of open defecation-free local government areas in the country has increased from 16 in 2019 to 38 as of November 2020.
The certified open defecation-free local government areas were honored, and the Nigerian Television Authority is one of the organizations recognized for its role in this national campaign. We'll bring you more details in our subsequent bulletins. And still on sanitation, the FCT Minister of State Ramatu Tijani Aliyu says proper waste management for improved socio-economic development and job creation is a key focus of government as the race to end open defecation in the country takes center stage. Deborah Gazazi Maika reports that the minister, represented by Muhammad Dan Hassan, said these at a sensitization ceremony to mark the 2020 World Toilet Day.
FCT Minister of State, represented by Director of Rural Water Supply and Sanitation, says about 47 million people in Nigeria do not use toilets, causing nearly 87,000 diarrhea deaths among children under the age of 5.
Tells us now that the importance of toilet. As we look at toilets in the house as a negligent or neglected issue, it is as important as having the kitchen or even the bedroom.
As far as sustainable sanitation is concerned, it starts with good toilets.
Good intervention to liaise with traditional rulers and also religious leaders, because they are the ones that are dealing directly with the grassroots.
I will still request for the area council to establish public toilet within the community.
In line with this, President Muhammad Buhari has launched a program that a crusade on the open defecation.
Charities accused experience shared on open defecation called for urgent action to tackle open defecation. World Toilet Day is a life-saving event celebrated on the 19th of November. This year's commemoration addresses sustainable sanitation and climate change. Deborah Gazaji, Micah, NTA News.
To other matters now, the President of the Senate and Speaker House of Representatives at a two-day training and advocacy workshop for federal and state female lawmakers on gender-responsive legislation in Nigeria have advocated inclusion of more women in governance. John Yako completes the report.
Despite the pride of place women occupy, they are mostly excluded in governance, and this situation makes it difficult for them to contribute their quota to nation building. To change the narrative, the female lawmakers are using the program put together by the National Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, the United Nations Women and other partners to amplify their voice.
have to go by a true legislative way.
There has to be concerted effort from the government, from the executive to say, you have to do it this way.
I want to see a situation where we will have like an executive order or executive bill that will mandate it for us to have an actual legislation to that effect.
We need to assist one another in trying to rise up to specific positions in elective offices in Nigeria.
Crucial in the compositions of the legislature are women. Women incidentally exist in an environment that is still dominated by men, leading us to the need to converse for improved representation of the women folk.
These and others underscore the importance of this capacity building workshop, which is targeted at improving participant understanding not only of legislative and governance processes, but also identifying areas of legislative intervention with regard to improving women's political participation.
The two-day capacity building workshop is expected to arouse the consciousness in women to participate actively in policy and decision-making processes. John Yaku, NTA News.
And in the last 12 months, 243 million women and girls around the world have been subjected to sexual and/or physical violence. Adebola Brooksling Sunday reports that President of the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly, Volkan Bozkır, said this in a message as the world marks the 2020 16 days of activism against gender-based violence.
None of us can stand by while any woman or girl lives in fear for her safety. This is the time for men and boys around the world to stand up for what is right. This is the time to change our attitudes and norms in support of gender equality and an end to violence.
The annual international campaign is commemorated between November 25th and December 10th of every year, aimed at the elimination of violence against women. And since the outbreak of COVID-19, emerging data, especially from those in the frontline fight against the pandemic, shows that violence against women and girls, particularly domestic violence, has been on the increase. Achibong Basi reports that experts describe rising incidents of violence against women as a shadow pandemic in the midst of COVID-19 crisis, while suing for collective global efforts to stop further escalation.
The United Nations Secretary General's Declaration on Unite to End Violence Against Women campaign, a multi-year effort, aims at preventing and eliminating violence against women and girls. Orange the world. Fund, respond, prevent, collect is a theme for International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women and Girls 2020.
They are also working towards ensuring that livelihood is provided in the work plan.
We have created linkages where we can get all services for one survivor.
There's a lot of awareness created. People are more comfortable reporting cases.
As violence against women and girls continues to be an obstacle to achieving equality, development, peace, as well as the fulfillment of human rights of women and girls, the promise of sustainable development goals to leave no one behind may be far from fulfillment if there is no end to violence against women and girls. In Calabar, Achibong Basi, NTA News.
And with me in the studio to speak more on the 16-day activism to eliminate gender-based violence in Nigeria is Ene Ede, a woman activist who has been at the front lines in the quest to eliminate gender-based violence in Nigeria. You're welcome to Nationwide.
Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers.
Okay, I'm just wondering, most United Nations commemorations are usually a day or a week. This is 16 days of activism. Why is this, and what does it signify?
Yeah, it has to be like that, especially now, because issue of violence against women particularly, I'm glad I listened to the background information, background report rather. It's something that touches spirit, soul, and body of the human person, and it reduces productivity, it causes trauma, and it causes fear. And because there is deliberate and conscious effort to eliminate violence against women particularly, because of the numerous negative effects, it means it's important to have that expansive engagement with multi-stakeholders. We are particularly happy that the stakeholder space is expanding. That's why women and all other supporters of dignity of human person is grateful to NTA for launching a Stand Against Rape and Rapists. It's a profound and very dynamic campaign. We are so grateful, and I know you are still doing more. Even for bringing me to the studio today, it means you are ready to do more. So this space is given so that the engagement can be expansive. It can make impact. If you look at the team, respond, fund, prevent, and collect. It means we need to do all these categories of actions to be able to create the necessary awareness, to also demand accountability. We're interested in the demand side as well as the supply side. What is government doing? What is civil society doing to also demand accountability? So that complementary action is very important to be able to bring this to barest minimum. The report you made is just fantastic, that it's shadow pandemic. It's even beyond shadow pandemic, because the impact we have seen among us is tremendous. The rise, is it defilement? We never had such cases on the rise before.
Talking about cases on the rise, we have the statistics that says incidents on gender-based violence spiked from 346 to 796 between March and April 2020. That's the COVID-19 era. And I'm just wondering, are we blaming this? How do we, or where do we place this blame? Is it on orientation, or is it us as humans, or the circumstance we found ourselves?
Yeah, it's beyond the circumstance. You know, we are coming from a culture of silence. You zip your lips, you don't speak, even if it is, if it's necessary, if you have evidence, if you have the need to speak. They believe that because of stigma, because of fear of even violating even the person who is reporting, you keep quiet. So coming from that background, and suddenly we are all locked in. We are facing one another. There isn't much space for people to go out, to vent anger, as well as even to say, okay, let us hide this way, let us go and have conversation. We are suddenly locked in. And the very attitude of people, you were asking, is this something that just came suddenly? No, it's been there. It's only able to manifest. It was just waiting for time to just happen. And this time happened to be the unfortunate time that it is happening. That's why you find several categories of various incidences of violence happening within the home, within the community, within even places that you don't need to mention.
In most cases, we talk about what the role of the government should be. I'm going to ask you that, but before I go there, we have a lot of women that are bringing up young men who are likely to be fathers and husbands tomorrow. What should be the role of mothers and fathers?
Yeah, it's beyond the role of father, mother, or blaming anybody. We have gone beyond blame because we are in an emergency. That's why I'm so happy. I'm excited. Somebody shared a legislative advocacy coalition against rape. I saw she shared a statement from Mr. President. We've not had that before. It's profound for president of a country to make such statement. We have seen it in other African countries. We have seen it in more advanced countries. But our president made a statement yesterday, which is very profound. Not just message of saying, I acknowledge that this is happening, but also commitment and declaring that this is an emergency. It means we have come to the realization that the blame game is over. We don't need to blame anybody. We cannot blame the mother. who is locked in so many ways, who is also pursuing many things, has so many things pursuing her. So it is not the responsibility of the mother alone, both the responsibility of the father and the mother. It's also the responsibility of the community. Faith-based organizations, civic organizations, corporate Nigeria, like media, like you are doing. NTA is doing good work. So if we agree that, look, there is a need for all the multi-stakeholders to take responsibility, instead of beginning to say, okay, let's shift this responsibility. If we take responsibility, say, what can we do? Because this is an emergency, whether we like it or not. Nobody is isolated. You can see both high and mighty. They are falling victim of all these challenges. It's a collective responsibility.
Thank you very much, Ene Ede, woman activist, for coming on Nationwide today. We truly appreciate your contribution.
It's our pleasure, and we're grateful to NTA.
Thank you. And moving on, it's time to join Dotun in our Lagos Network Center for more reports. Dotun, you're on.
Thank you, Alwa. And still on gender-based violence, as Lagos State continues to witness alarming increase in sexual and gender-based violence, wife of Lagos State Governor Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu has pledged her commitment to partnering with her counterparts across the nation under the umbrella of the Nigeria Governor's Wives Forum in tackling the menace. Nosa Usula has details.
The most common acts of violence against women in Nigeria include sexual harassment, physical violence, harmful traditional practices, emotional and psychological violence, socio-economic violence, and violence against non-combatant women in conflict situations. The wife of the Lagos State Governor, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, frowned at the increasing rate of rape cases amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Rape cases recorded, remember the word recorded, 717. Cases conclusively investigated and charged to court, 631. That's for Nigeria. Cases still being investigated, then, this statistics was from January to May 2020, 55.
Dr. Sanwo-Olu assured residents that the state government will continue to implement various initiatives aimed at stamping out the heinous crime of gender-based violence in the state, especially against women and children.
There is really something important about this gender-based violence. There is need to pay more attention to what is happening. We're creating more awareness in the community, and you realize the ripple effect of that is that more people are now having more courage to come out and discuss one or two things.
The Advocacy Week will be used to enlighten and educate the people, especially at the grassroots, build on successes recorded in the state, and fashion out strategies to further round up responses and care for victims. In Lagos, Nosa Usula, NTA News.
The Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria, under the aegis of CACOVID, have expended 43 billion naira in providing support to the federal government maritime environment. Adherence to safety guidelines such as use of life jackets, avoiding overloading, overspeeding and night journey are at the center of daily concerns as passenger boat services have increased in the last few months.
Christmas is coming very close, and the safety is paramount to one of our operating systems.
Important thing we are still emphasizing is on the certifications. Because if that is not yet done, we have not even started.
We enforce that all our boats are insured. All our members' boats are insured. Because like there is polarity in the system in Lagos State today.
While there has also been a sharp reduction of incidents of boat mishaps, regulators are relying on constant monitoring and enforcement to further reduce the threats.
Once they are properly trained and certified, then we can be sure that that aspect has been addressed. Then when the vessel is also certified, and when you're operating within the approved times, obeying all the protocols, I can assure you that the issue of accidents will be drastically reduced.
Stakeholders also noted that investment in waterways transportation will help decongest the ports as more barges are now moving containers on the waterways. And that's it from here. Nationwide continues after the break.
A scorecard like no other. Government has put in place policies, measures, and initiatives principally targeted at youths, women, and the most vulnerable groups in our society. These included broad plan to lift 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in the next 10 years, the creation of 75 billion naira National Youth Investment Fund to provide opportunities for the youths, and the Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Survivor Fund, through which government is A. Paying 3-month salaries of the staff of 100,000 micro, small and medium enterprises. B. Paying for the registration of 250,000 businesses at the Corporate Affairs Commission. C. Giving a grant of 30,000 naira to 100,000 artisans and guaranteeing market for the product of traders. These are in addition to many other initiatives such as farmer money, trader money, market money, and power, and tech, and agro. These and more in spite of a recession and a global pandemic.
International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android, Intelsat 901 degree east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency. The Council of Our Fathers.
I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
Thanks for rejoining us. It's nationwide. The Ondo State government and its major partners have appealed to the people of Ayetoro, a riverine community in the state, that the ocean surge ravaging parts of the area will soon be put to check. The State Commissioner for Environment, Funsho Esson, said that these were reacting to the extent of damage to property and other means of livelihood. Over now to Olubukola Aduo.
Ayetoro, an island community in the Nigeria local government area of Ondo State, was founded in 1947. Ayetoro has been in the news lately as a troubled town of about 12,000 people ravaged by a rampaging Atlantic Ocean that has almost eaten up about 3/4 of the community.
The devastating effect is happening almost every day.
The streets of the community are now filled with debris from the ocean that has destroyed homes, businesses, and schools. The structure of the school is what gives the community a major concern, and that is why elders of the town are appealing for help.
SOS, save our soul.
We have nowhere to go. We have no boats. We have nothing.
Ondo State government says a number of steps have been taken in conjunction with the federal government and relevant international institutions to rescue Ayetoro and its people from further destruction by the ocean.
The state government have been able to secure some funds through the intervention of the World Bank, and that the money, even though it's not enough, that the state government is going to support, and the federal government is willing to do so also.
The resident expressed hope that the various efforts being made by the government will yield positive results. From Ayetoro in Ilaja local government area of Ondo State, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
And the Abia state government is working to make the state destitute-free and gathering the destitutes in the state with a view to training them in basic skills and keeping them off the streets. This was during sensitization campaigns in Umuahia and Aba, where they were given pep talks and fed before being moved to the Women Development Center, Umuahia. Steve Lonai Mwakulu completes the report.
The sensitization rally took the officials of the Ministry of Women Affairs to major streets in Umuahia and two strategic points in Aba, where the destitutes and beggars usually cluster.
We are against the young children instead of going to school, they are begging. It is not allowed in Abia State.
The sensitization drive tagged Free Abia State of Destitutes and Beggars is being driven by the State Ministry of Women Affairs to foster street urchins from being used as ready tools to foment trouble in the state. The sensitization took the form of friendship, feeding, and appeal for them to agree to be trained. Some of the destitutes resisted the effort, while others willingly accepted the initiative.
I want to be doctor.
Soldier.
The government has taken wisely because these people are causing nuisance.
After today, these people will have something doing.
And this is one of the solutions. We bring them together, we tell them what we want to do, and then we try to engage them.
With this development now, it means we are integrating them back into the society.
It is expected that after this option of housing, feeding, and training, beggars found on the streets will not be tolerated. In Umuahia, Steve Lonai Mwakulu, NTA News.
And Zenret is on standby in Jos with more reports. Good afternoon to you.
Hawa, and thank you for joining us in Jos. The Jos Museum and Monument, one of the largest historical sites in Nigeria, if adequately harnessed, has the capacity for a huge source of revenue to boost economic development. The Director General of the National Commission for Museum and Monument gave this indication while on assessment tour of the Jos Museum. Mary Domtor reports.
The National Commission for Museum and Monuments in Plateau State has over the years played significant role in preserving the rich cultural heritage of Plateau and by extension Nigeria. To ascertain the state of the museum, the Director General of the Commission, Professor Abba Issa Tijani, visited the Jos Museum. The DG explained that the Commission has 52 museums, 65 monuments and sites, and 2 World Heritage sites across the country, with Plateau State having one of the largest facilities. Earlier, the entourage paid a visit to the Bombom Jos, His Royal Majesty Da Jacob Gangbuba at his palace, where he thanked the royal father for supporting the museum and called on traditional institutions to rise to the sustenance of monuments in their domains.
The Commission are trying our best so that we will be able to make more impact in this sector, particularly in Plateau State. We are a nation that has a lot of nationalities that are packaged into this one nation, Nigeria. And yet, right from our education policy, you know more than I do that history is no more taught in schools.
The National Commission for Museum and Monuments was established in 1979 to manage the national cultural properties in Jos. Mary Domtour, NTA News.
In continuation of efforts at human capital development and empowering youths towards self-reliance and economic rebirth, the Plateau State government has trained and presented starter packs to another set of 500 youths in the state. Indeyang and the Abuja reports that this is part of the Simon Lalong Empowerment Scheme.
Samani Maplan Sambo and Judith Fidelis are past beneficiaries of the Simon Lalong Empowerment Scheme, a scheme that has trained over 40,000 youths in 12 skills cutting across all business strata. Encouraged by their progress and testimonies, the Plateau State government with Plasmida have continued to train more youths in skills that will position them for a productive life. In this light, another set of 500 beneficiaries have been presented with starter packs. Governor Simon Bako Lalong of Plateau State says the state government remains committed to youth empowerment.
Today's beneficiaries, I want to appeal to you to get to work and create opportunities for yourself and others so as to avoid poverty. I expect that within the shortest possible time, you will be employers of labor as you make progress.
Over the years, you discover that most of the experts and talents that are doing very well in the entertainment industry, be it music, be it film production, they originate from Jos. So we want to really focus on that sector.
For the beneficiaries, the starter parks has positioned them for greater exploit.
I thank the Plateau State government for considering youths like us.
We live with this now. It's going to be a boost, for what I'm into.
The beneficiaries had 3 months training in the 4th phase of the scheme in Jos, Indenyan and the Abuja. NTA News.
That's it from Jos. It's back to Hawa in Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Many thanks to you, Zenret. And moving on here, the Buhari administration has been an advocate of the local production of food as part of efforts to enhance the potential of the agri sector. A national workshop on improving commodities in the agricultural value chain is ongoing in Abuja, with a focus on the cassava and rice subsectors. The notes the success is recorded in rice production, with participants advocating the continuous support by government and venture capitalists for
the Kalabaitu Road and the Abak-Ekparakwa Road. The repairs on Kalabaitu Road for motorists is particularly a relief considering the bitter experience of last year, where they had to spend days on the road due to heavy traffic caused by failed portions of some sections of the road.
It's only the youth who normally excavate the road to enable us gain access to wherever we are going to. I so much thank God for what I'm seeing today.
No very good the past year, so the thing, no market, everything just dead dump.
This December, I want to enter to people who want to travel. It's not good for somebody to hook up in hold up for maybe 2 to 3 days.
The entire of our backside has been overlaid with drainages. The surface dressing is still ongoing.
The intervention work, when completed, will ease vehicular movement on the 2 roads, which contracts have already been awarded.
So those areas, we are trying to make them motorable so that vehicles will have unimpeded movement.
We will try our best to make this route motorable, and we already have a design elevation.
The ongoing projects are expected to last up to December 5, 2020 in Uyo. Clement Barakui, NTA News.
And the nationwide train moves to Ibadan now, where the campaign is against cultism. Kemi is our guide. Hello, Kemi.
And welcome to Ibadan. Rather than to perceive cultism as a problem of the youths, the society, especially parents and the older generation, must take responsibility and join security agencies in building effective solidarity against the menace. This is the consensus among speakers at the official launch of the Ogun State Police campaign against cultism and other vices in Abeokuta. Adeni Taiwo has more.
In Ogun State alone, about 432 suspected cultists were arrested and prosecuted in 2019, and that is a major source of concern for the police and other stakeholders who gathered in Abeokuta for the official launch of police campaign against cultism and other vices, Pokakov. They identified poor parenting, arms proliferation, and manipulation of mind through the social media as some of the factors promoting cultism among youths.
We just have to fight very, very strenuously to nip it in the bud. And I think we can really rehabilitate some of them.
We don't look down even on the junior ones because that is where they start. And you don't even notice it. Our children of today are not having role models again. Who are the role models?
Identifying Pokakov as a community-driven solution to the menace of cultism through sensitization and mentoring.
If they have an understanding that their tomorrow is ruined by their choices today, they may change. So talk to them, talk with them, don't talk down on them.
Highlights of the launch was the inauguration of the NYSC unit of Pokakov by the Inspector General of Police with a mandate to reach out and positively influence young members of their host community. Pokakov was first inaugurated in Abuja by the Inspector General of Police on August 29, 2019. In Abuja, Adini Taiwo, NTA News.
The motion for financial independence for the judiciary system in Nigeria took the center stage at the 4th National Delegate Conference of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, held in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital. Kayode Oladoshu reports.
With a strong mindset in making sure that administrative activities of the judiciary system and court proceedings in Nigeria is of high standard, these key players in judiciary matters are working hand in hand with the bar and bench to see the need for a wake-up call towards the financial autonomy of the judiciary, as well as assent to the Executive Order 10 recently signed by President Muhammadu Buhari for effective implementation.
Where you have a judiciary that is modernized, where you have a judiciary, where the morale of the members are boosted, then that will return to the benefit of the entire society.
Deliberations reflect on various propositions that will drive the effectiveness process of justice as a take-home for the participants.
For us as a JUSU, we will continue to fight the struggle to ensure that funding of judiciary is realized.
The fundamental issue is that every arm of government should be separated. One should not be dependent of another.
Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria is an arm of Nigerian Labour Congress and a body that perform administrative duties in the Nigeria Court of Law in Ibadan. Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
You are still watching Nationwide on the NTA. More reports after this break. Do stay with us.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
My name is Nando Jamda Muhammad.
Stevita
Hussein Musa.
Roduna Joel Finji.
Said Musa John. I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
And I said that plantain. Nakai Kimami Shekara.
I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria. And you
can see how we are doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician, and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Dialogue, empathy, love, and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
Let's build and not destroy.
Thanks for rejoining. joining nationwide, and we still have more on the 16-day activism to end gender-based violence. Let's now take you to Sokoto, where Abdul Rahman will give us details of activities in the state and other reports. Hello, Abdul Rahman.
Hello, Hawa, and welcome to Sokoto. Minister of Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talen.
In Gusau, Sadia Abubakar Shino, NTA News.
That's it from here. Back to Hawa in Abuja for continuation of Nationwide.
Very well, Abdul Rahman. And moving on, the Nigerian Navy has rolled out a 10-year transformational plan to upscale its operations. This was highlighted at a workshop in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa reports that the Chief of Naval Staff, Ibok Ekwe Ibas, was represented by the Chief of Policy and Plans, Rear Admiral Chris Ezekube.
Nigeria's vast coastal area possesses huge potentials to support the nation's desired socio-economic growth. For this to be attained, existing and emerging threats confronting Nigeria's waterways must constantly be checked. This workshop is aimed at enhancing synergy between the Nigerian Navy and other agencies. It is also to build leadership capacity that will introduce the needed change in combat strategy.
As we live in a world of diverse and dynamic security challenges that require transformation, change of attitude, and the need to generate new values.
The Nigerian Navy Transformation Plan 2011 to 2020 stands on 8 pillars. These pillars are concept and organization, fleet renewal, infrastructure, logistics, humanitarian, resource management and administration.
Taking ownership, closed and regular evaluation of transformational policies, developing clear objectives and ensuring a specific tangible vision are some of the issues raised at the workshop.
The very good thing about this workshop is that we'll be learning about how to begin to take practical steps to achieving the change, the positive change that is needed in every organization and particularly in leadership.
A leader who relies essentially on authority and power will not get it right, but you need the required skills, and those are the things that we discussed today.
The workshop is focused on transformation and management, a strategic imperative for growth. Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with the former military governor of Kano State and Nigeria's High Commissioner to Zimbabwe, retired Colonel Sani Bello, on his 58th birthday. On his 78th birthday, rather, President Buhari joins family members, friends and associates of the retired military officer in celebrating the milestone signposted with a long meritorious service in the army, thereby playing a pivotal role in the development of the country. In a statement, the president congratulates Colonel Bello for his entrepreneurial initiative, which has created career opportunities for many young Nigerians and skills that have been acquired in oil and gas, construction and communications. Sports is next with Ayodeji Makinde.
Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dare says the National Sports Festival has not been postponed indefinitely, but assures stakeholders are brainstorming with the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 before the fiesta is held in Edo State.
We're just trying to decide on the date that makes sure that both our athletes and the conditions put in place can be met and fulfilled.
Meanwhile, a convergence of administrators and experts have called for improved welfare for athletes and infrastructure management at a colloquium to mark the 2020 FCT Swan Week in Abuja with the theme, New Sports Policy, Emerging Opportunities for the Sporting Media in a Changing World.
A lot of these players were discovered during the National Youth Games. Today, they are now beginning to be champions in their clubs.
In basketball, Nigeria's D Tigers secured a 76-56 points victory over South Sudan in their first game in Group D of 2021 Men's Afro Basket qualifiers ongoing in Kigali. Caleb Agada led the team with 16 points as Nigeria next play hosts Rwanda on Saturday before taking on Mali on Sunday. Tributes have continued to pour in for football legend Diego Maradona, who died of